I, as a child, I've seen a lot. My friends being shot before my own eyes, falling down before my own eyes.
We have a long fight ahead of us.
Here I am.
Here I am. Here I am.
And here I am.
Here I am.
And here I am.
And here I am with Shai Davidai.
My guest today is a former South Sudanese slave and, more important, a human rights activist. Here I am with Simon Deng. Simon, thank you so much for joining. I have to tell you, I'm very nervous about the conversation today, and not because of you. You have the biggest smile in the world, and you're one of the most warm people I've met. But we're gonna talk about some very serious things that people that are listening or watching might be unprepared for. But before we do that, I want to ask you the first question. Simon, what are you fighting for?
Thank you, Giles, and thank you for having me today this morning. I am honored and humbled to be with you. I think this will be the third time we met. And what I've seen in you is something that I was looking for to see from young people with visions. I had been associated with your community for almost 30 years. To answer your question, what I'm fighting for, I was a victim. And during the time of my victimizations, nobody was there to fight for me. Thank God that I become free, living in a country which freedom is something that we share it, that a God-given right to every single human being. When I see any human being victimized, it brings back the wound that I'm trying to heal and walk away from it. So being a free person, knowing what it means to be in a situation where you are down, then I cannot walk away. I have to use my freedom and my voice as a free person to be the voice of a person who need a free person to come there and even to put his hand on the shoulder and say that, I know what you're feeling, I know what you're going through.
Wow. I want to start. Now, first of all, I have to say, I don't see you as a victim. I see you as a survivor, one of the strongest people I've met. But I want to start before everything, before the bad things start. What do you remember of your childhood? You were born, you're a member of the Shilluk tribe in South Sudan. What was your childhood like?
To be in a place where you was born, there is nothing you can substitute with the place where you was born. I was born in a village in southern Sudan, a place where there is no hospitals, there's no schools, but we have life as human being, regardless of what others looking at us happy. We have cows, we have goats, we have freedom. But has been terrified by one thing. The government of Sudan will come over and attack my village. As kids growing up, all we know is our houses will be burned down. We have to run for our life. We'll come back from where we hide to figure out how many people was killed after the village has been burned down. And then the villagers will go and bury their dead ones, and they start building another huts, because it's not something difficult to build a hut from the grass. All you need is just a grass from the bush, and then you build a house and a mud and so on. That's the life we know, and it was a beautiful life. Especially,
it was a beautiful life.
It was a beautiful life because we don't know. That's what we know.
Even though
that's what we know.
The government kept coming.
That's what we know. That's why I said that there was one thing which is bother us, especially as a kids, and we thought that is how people live like, especially with the kids.
Why did the government?
And to finish this. We always being taught by our mothers and fathers that when you see the Arab coming or you hear the Arab coming, the government troop coming, you have to run and you have to run for your life. Don't wait for no one. And that teaching kept some of us out of life. Sometimes we will be running when the government troop comes, and we'll spend a night in the bush where we don't know where our mothers, where our dads. So this is the life that I remember as a child, until my dad decided that, because these things happen constantly, year over year end. That's the life we has been going on in Southern Sudan, which was not known by the outsiders, by the way. Which was not known, even you will be surprised today, and others who will listen to this, they will be surprised to hear what I'm going to say, that the government of Southern Sudan, is slaughtered 4 million plus Southern Sudanese Christians. 4 million. The first war, which started in 1955, and ended in 1972. It took 1.5 million. The peace was being made between the Northern and Southern Sudanese in 1972 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, which known in Sudan as Addis Ababa Agreement, where Southern Sudanese felt that the Northern Sudanese, there is a change of the attitude toward them. Since we are living in one country, a country of black, the land of black, which is Sudan, in African country, maybe they change their mind from this ideology of Islam, Arabization, and Islamizations, and they forgot about the Sudanizations. So the Southern Sudanese embraced that peace. Unfortunately, they was wrong. The government who signed peace with the Southern Sudanese decided in 1982 that Sudan has to be now, Islamic law has to be introduced in Sudan. And Sudan was declared as an Islamic state in Africa, the first country in the continent of Africa, become an Islamic state run by Sharia law, exactly the second to Iran. So the war, Southern Sudanese felt that they're being betrayed by their fellow brothers and sisters, Northern Sudanese. So they went back to war in 1982. That war was one of the ruthless war that ever being fought in Sudan. Because now that war being fought in the name of jihad, that war being fought in the name of Islam, where every single Muslims in Sudan, not only in Sudan, single Muslims outside Sudan, including Mujahideen far away from Sudan. Some of them come from all the way from Asia to come and fight the jihad war. And it was ruthless. And they went with no mercy, and they slaughtered 2.5 million Southern Sudanese.
And that's the war that started around 1983 until
Yes.
2005. Yeah.
So, Southern Sudanese, they become completely nothing in the south. 7 million become refugees. 7 million. The biggest refugees in the world was in Southern Sudan. It was in Sudan. Until some of us have to figure it out. Either you go and pick up the AK-47, or you have to go in other areas where you can use your voice. And I end up here in the United States.
To use your voice.
To use my voice. And I never stop.
And we will get to that. When you were 9, your family, your father decided that you will leave the village and go to the big town, the city, Malak.
Yes.
What happened? Why did he make the decision? What was the point where he said, enough, we need to leave the village?
I think my dad would be the right person to answer that, but he's not here. But I assume that he felt that he will lose his loved kids, people that he loved so much. My dad have too many cows, a lot of cows, very rich. Not in money, he doesn't have money, but he's rich in cattle. So he decided to take his family to the city of Malacan in southern Sudan for safety, because we've seen a lot. And I, as a child, I've seen a lot. My friends being shot before my own eyes, falling down before my own eyes. People that I know in the village, grown up, which is sometimes as a child, you want to be close to somebody who is an elder to play with it, because there is something love that you can see from somebody who is a blind person and so on. Even they will ask you to get this for me, and then we will be there for them. I've seen people like that perish before my own eyes, being burned alive, because sometimes when people run, they cannot run. When the truth will come, there is no mercy. Whoever that is there is an enemy, and then so on. So it was in Malacan where we lived next to an Arab family, and then one of the brother of the woman who is our neighbor, he came from others town from within southern Sudan, and he's going to northern Sudan. So he asked me to help him with his luggage, because we live not far away from the Nile and so on.
Before you get to that, because I want you to tell this story, I just want to remind the people that are listening. This is very hard for me to even say this, because as we're taping it, tomorrow is my son's birthday, and he's going to be 9. And this happened when you were 9 years old.
Yes.
A child, almost a baby.
An angel.
An angel. And your neighbor comes to you and asks help with the luggage.
Mm-hmm.
And you helped.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Being an angel. And he told me, this gentleman by the name Abdullah, that to sit to his luggage in the steamers, because according to him, when he told me that he's going to the market and then pick some things, and then he will be back soon. As a child, of course, sit down watching I don't know anybody, because the steamer is full of passengers who are going to the north.
It's a boat that goes up and down the Nile?
Yes,
yeah.
Because sometimes during the rain season, the only mean of transportation is the Nile. From the north to the south, he's traveled by the Niles. So he didn't come back right away, but I'm still waiting. until the boat or the steamer start getting out from station, leaving our stations. There is a horn, boo, that is moving. I become terrified. I'm in the boat for the first time in my life. And now the boat is leaving the stations, which I have no way to jump out or to jump down. Immediately, Abdullah showed up to calm me down because I was crying and yelling and so on. He told me that now the steamer left the stations. The only thing that he's going to do, we will go to the last destination in the north, a city of Kosti, which is the port, which work with everything coming to the north and everything's going to the south. And all the boats are there in Kosti. I don't know how he do it because I have to listen to him now. He's the only person that I know out of thousands of people in the boat.
Were there other children on the boat?
There are so many people in the boat. Mm-hmm. So many, thousands. It's a big boat. It's not a small boat. You talk about a steamer like this, like what people use to go for a cruise and so on.
Mm-hmm.
We arrived Kosti in 2 days. When we got out, it turned out that there is another 2 kids, which I didn't know, that are part of Abdullah. So now we're leaving the station. 3 of us, 3 Southern Sudanese Shuluk boys, following an Arab persons. And then we went to one of their place where, because in Kosti there is a market where designed by people within the areas, people who come from Fashishoya, people who they have their own areas, people of Kosti, they have their own areas, people from Marabi, they have their own areas, and so on. So we went to that section of Marabi, which is their Fashishoya, their own market. So he was being welcomed by his relative people that he knows.
So people knew Abdullah.
Oh yes, yeah, his relative. And then now we confused, but again, I have what he told me, that he's going to put me back to his steamers. So I remember very well, we were sent to a place where we have to eat. And then when we finish eating, now we have to get into a lorry to go to his own village now, which is outside Kosti, about 2 hours drive. A village of Fashishoya. When we arrived in Fashishoya, his whole family, big family, everybody was so happy. Abdullah came back, and he brought slaves and so on. To be honest with you, I didn't know the word is slaves. All I know that I am going back based on what I'm being promised by Abdullah. What took place, he divided us among his family, given away to, and there was a time when I realized that those families, especially the women, they was fighting over who will pick which one. I was the younger one. The other 2 boys, they are older than me. I don't know how old they are. And we were confused about what is going on. So eventually, I was given to a family, we have less kids, a family with 2 kids. Simply because I think that there is less work to be done in that family compared to other family. And I was given to them. The second day, I asked them, where is Abdullah? Because I want to go home. So I was being told that I should not come and ask for Abdullah because I'm not going to see Abdullah again. And they went on to explain that he was given to us by Abdullah as a gift.
As a gift.
He was given to us as a gift. I cannot believe what I heard from them, and I start crying.
Was that the first time you understood?
I start crying to a point that I have to cry until there's no more tears. Because I was being told I will never see, that word itself, never see Abdullah again, because he was given to us as a gift. I was beaten, but it still didn't stop until no tears in my eyes. I become a slave.
Do you remember what you were thinking at the when you?
What I was thinking
out?
That no, because he told me, he promised me, and what I was thinking, I cannot be given away. I'm a child of somebody. I have a lovely mother, wonderful father, brothers and sisters. I come from a good family, for God's sake. Now they're telling me that I was given away, given to them as a gift. What that gift means, even I didn't know the definition of a gift. But what I know when I was being told that I would never see him again. That part I understand, but part of the gift I didn't understand.
What was life like as a slave, as a child slave?
Horror. To be in a situation where now I am the first person to get up in the morning, and the last persons to go to sleep. Even I didn't have a regular place as a child of somebody. My place now, because they have goats in the areas, and they have some donkeys sometimes, because they use the donkey for the work and so on. And that place, I have to be the one cleaning it, because that's where I will spend a night.
You spend night, meaning?
That's where I'm going to be sleeping.
The
place where they put the goats and so on. I have to make it clean, because that's what will be.
Your bed, you slept with the animals.
I don't have a
not
bed,
a bed.
Yeah, as a person, but I have to figure it out what kind of sheet of clothes that I'm going to put down on
next to the animals.
Yeah. So to force to do the work that which used to be done by the animal, the donkeys that I talked about this for the works. What I mean by that, in the village of Feshishoya at that time, I don't know now, which can't wait to go and visit and see. They don't have running water. People get their water from the river Niles, and usually it is the donkeys are carrying the water from the Nile, or some others grown-up peoples. They will go with 2 buckets with this tied on the sticks, pull the water and then carrying on their backs. And that job I was to be introduced into it. Physically, it's not a work can be done by a child of that age. But I was not being considered as a child. I was a slave. Physically, a child cannot endure that work. But I have to train myself, because I'm going to be punished why I didn't do that. All I have to do, take a water, which I can be able to lift out, and then go back and go back and go back and go back and go back, and become my routine, which is now I replace the place of the donkeys which used to carry the water from the Niles.
What was the punishment?
I become immune to punishment. in any kind of form, because punishment is not one, it doesn't come in one direction. It doesn't come from one person. It doesn't come to you because you did something wrong. Somebody may say within the family, and we're talking about not only my slave masters, but people within their extended family. They can punish you for no reason. They will say that to me, I call you, but you didn't say yes so loudly. That is will it take for me to be punished. The kids, even some of them in my age, leave out others. For fun, they will say, Dugal habit, which is beat the slave for fun. They will gang on me, and then I cannot do anything. All I have to do is to cry for mercy. But unfortunately, that mercy is not there. So this is the horror that I went through as a child. So when people talk about the slavery and the demonization and brutality of the slavery, you have to be there to know it. And I know it. You have to be there to be the one who went through. And I know it. I have every single scar on my body. Mentally, physically, psychologically. Because I went through things that any child should not went through that. But since I didn't have anyone to be there for me, I have to rely on two things: hope and faith. And these are the name that I have given to my two beautiful kids, hope and faith.
I want to read a quote that you said, which I think is really beautiful. You said, I have no shame in having been enslaved. If there is shame, it belongs to individuals who consider human beings as property.
It is true. I mean it, because I didn't choose to become a slave. I was kidnapped. And I was given away without my consent. I was given away without my mom and my dad aware that their own beloved child was given away as a gift. Leave out that they become a slaves. So the reason I said that, because a person who enslaved me knew for a fact that I'm a child. I come from a mom and a dad. I'm a child of somebody. Especially he or she happened to have a child. For them to do that to me, that they cannot do to their kids, then a shame should not come to me. A shame should go to them, because there is no difference between me and their child.
You were taken into slavery, abducted into slavery when you were 9 years old. 3.5 years later, you found yourself in the marketplace. What happened?
In fact, that place, it is the city of Kosi now. It's the first city that we landed when I was brought from the Southern Sudan. My slave masters, they have a son who happened to finish a primary school in Fashishoya, and then their son have to go to the junior high schools. They have no junior high school in Fashishoya, so they have to move to the city of Kosti, which is a bigger city. They have all these schools, high school, junior high schools, 1,000 of them. Seeing the father of that kid have a business in Kosti, so they moved to to Kosti. It was in Kosti I come across the three gentlemen that happened to have Shilluk tribal mark in their forehead like what I have today. I didn't have those tribal mark at that times. When I saw
Can you
them,
describe for people, some people
Yeah.
will be only listening, what is the Shilluk tribal marking?
in Sudan, we have thousands of different ethnic groups. And not only in southern Sudan, but in the northern Sudan, where each and every ethnic groups, the majority of the Sudanese, who happen to be original Sudanese, each and every tribe have some kind of sign, either in their cheeks or in their face, to identify them that they belong to these ethnic groups, to differentiate them from the others. The northern Sudanese, they have it in 100. The southern Sudanese, they have. And each marks in their face, it will be just only for that tribes. They don't share with other tribes. So the Shilluk have those, we have others within southern Sudan they have marked in a different form. In different form. So the one which have those, the dots I have before my forehead now, it is the Shilluk mark. And everybody can look it up and they will see exactly the difference from that. So when I saw those marks, even that I didn't have the Shilluk mark on my forehead, I knew then this is my ethnic fellow Shilluk.
This was your tribe, people.
Yes.
And I read there's about 500,600,000 Shilluk. So it's a big, big, big tribe.
It's big.
But there's a sense of family and connection. So when you saw three men that are from your tribe, even if you didn't know them, you went to them.
And the numbers that you said, that numbers was reduced because of the Shilluks fought to resent and rejected the Islamization when it was being brought in Sudan, because Sudan used to run by kingdoms. We have Funj kingdoms, we have 4 kingdoms, and we have a Nuba kingdom, and we have the Shilluk kingdom in the south. But there is another kingdom, which is a Zande kingdom, which was the smallest. But the biggest kingdom in Sudan used to be 4 kingdoms. The 3 of them happened to be in further north. The Funj kingdom was defeated and was being Islamized. The 4 kingdom, they even surrendered before they fought to resent it and reject it, and they took the Islam. And whereby in Darfur today, even that everybody is blacks, they have their own African language, but everybody in Darfur today are Muslims. The Nuba kingdoms, also that were defeated, and then the only kingdom which is refused to submit under the Islam, it was the Shilluk kingdom. So the numbers of the Shilluk's population was reduced because there was a slaughter. There was ruthlessly a slaughter.
Genocide.
With nobody knows. Because at that time, probably the media wasn't there. So when I saw those gentlemen, what came in my mind that this is the moment I have been waiting for. And that moment, I'm not going to let it go. I ran to them to tell them that I'm a Shilluk boy. This is my mom's name. Innocently, I just assume that they know my mom. This is my dad's names, because I want to tell them as much as I can in a very short time to convince them, because I didn't have an identity, which is a Shilluk mark, to convince them so that they can believe. All I have to do is using the word of mouth, the village names, and so on. So one of them said to me, he said, you come from further northern Shilluks, and we are further southern Shilluk, and we are further north Shilluk. So there's no way we know your mom and dad. But we know the name of the village that you mentioned. I felt disappointed. Without realizing, the tears was just running down. And I started blaming myself that probably I didn't explain myself much so that they can believe me. Now they don't believe me. And one of them felt bad, and he came and put his arm to my shoulder, telling me that, don't cry. Yes, indeed, we don't know your mom, we don't know your dad, but we know the village that you mentioned to us. And then there is a gentleman we know in the area where we live who came from that village. We were going to look for that gentleman. He may be the one who will know your mom and dad. Of course, since I have no way out, all I have to say, maybe believe them or not. So they promised me that the following day I have to be in that location at the same time, if I didn't know the time. So I have to sneak out the following day to go to that place, because I was not sent outside, because usually I go outside when I'm being sent outside. I cannot go outside by myself to for recreation, because no. So I was waiting for them, and here they come, 3 of them. I could not believe to see somebody that I knew back home. It was too much joy in me. And that gentleman broke down crying.
He recognized you.
He recognized and he crying. The reason he's crying, during my disappearance, my dad put an offer, 10 cows to anyone who will come and tell him about his sons. 2.5 years come and pass by. Nobody came to collect the 10 cows. And nobody came to tell my family that they knew where I am, what happened to me. So they went and put together a funeral of their child. And that gentleman was part of the process. And that's what the reasons that he could not believe his eye to see a child who is considered that is a dead child.
So your
He's
parents...
the one who promised me that I should not go and tell my slave master that I met somebody that I know, because he was afraid they will take me somewhere where I will not be found. Because usually during my captivities, when I am being tortured, I always being told that if I may think of trying to run away, we will capture you, and we will cut your legs, and we will cut your arm. That itself put not only fear, but put a trauma where I may not think of going left and right, even that I didn't know left and right at that time. I didn't know how to run away. Run where? I'm a child who was brought in a place where I don't have anybody that I know. So he was the one who promised that I will take you back. So let me just work on it, and then every 2 days we will meet, even just for 1 minute, so that he want to make sure that I'm still visible in that place. And he was the one who took me out from the slavery and took me back without the knowledge of my slave masters.
What was his name?
You talk about the gentleman who
saved you.
Who saved me. Nicha, which is African names, yes.
Nicha.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that you thought about when you were free?
When we arrived in Malacan, and then we're going to the house where my mom and dad live, of course, nobody told them that we found your son. Leave out that nobody told them that your son is coming home and he's still alive. When we entered to the house, the first person who saw me was my sister, and she screamed in my name crying, screaming. My mom was in a hut, which is a tukul, which we call it house, but we call it tukul. When he came out, he could not stand on his legs, her legs. She fall down, crying. She try and get up, he fall down. It was a shock. But I was so happy. It was different. On their side, it was a shock, a miracle. Somebody who is not supposed not to be here, come here.
They thought you were dead.
Yeah. And that moment itself, I cannot describe it how it is, especially by my mom. Yeah. And she was shaking so bad, crying, confused, and so on. But I was so happy. I was so happy. Being in Malacan for 3 days, the first days there was a group, people from my village going back to my village. My mom is in, so now I escaped with them, going to the village. So people look at me, and then the others who saw me, they said that, oh, we saw your son going to the village with so and so and so on. My dad could not believe, and he followed me into the village. He brought me back. I came back, and I escaped again back. Because I cannot be in a place where I will be kidnapped again. I cannot be in a place where a terror is still visible in me. I want to be in a village where I will not see a person that happened to be an Arab. So,
you were still a child.
Yeah. The first things I did now is to go and have those shuluk mark in my face. The reason for that, it was simply I was given an offer by my slave masters that if I want to be treated as a human being, if I want to be taken to schools, I have 3 offers on the tables. 1, convert to Islam. 2, take the Arab names. And the third one, I become their son. Of course, I was willing to convert and take the Arab names. But the difficult one, which I cannot, or which I cannot even think of taking it, how can I become their sons? They kidnap me. They're treating me here as not a human being. I'm being abused constantly. I am being put in a place where I'm not being considered as a human being. And I come from a place where I used to be considered as a child of somebody, a lovely mother and a lovely father. How can I give away my identity? For that itself, since I cannot tell them, and because at that time, there is one word I know to everything. Yes, and yes, even yes to a torture. Even yes to a torture, because that's the only thing I have.
I read that you said that the one word that a slave is not allowed to say is no.
Yeah. Yes. Yes to everything. Yes to everything. So, what saved me probably is my patience and hope. For one day, a miracle will happen. One day, the sun will come out. One day, somebody will be there for you. And that is what I got when the family who enslaved me went to Kosti. So I put the Shuluk tribal mark in my forehead, simply that if anybody will kidnap me tomorrow, will not have an audacity and assuming that he or she want to take me, his son. Because I'm not just a child now, I'm a Shuluk boy. I'm a Shuluk child with the Shuluk tribal marks in my forehead.
You have an identity.
People may see it as something very strange, but something that I'm proud of it.
It's your identity. You
It
make
is
your
my
identity clear. Do you know what?
And for the others,
Sorry.
especially the other communities, when the issue of identity is more important. And when Moses was given everything to even to become a king, and Moses, because of identity, he walked away from the kings to go back to his peoples, even that he have to go through a lot. Identity, it is you. It is something. Anybody who will walk away from his identity, he betrayed himself and his soul.
Do you know what happened to the other two boys?
No, unfortunately. Because we are not being kept in one place, and we are not being kept even to be associated to one another. Each one of us is being kept and through miserable situations which no one knows what happened. To be honest, I don't know.
I read that in the 22 years of Second Civil War, 200,000 South Sudanese were enslaved. And more than that the estimate right now is that 50 million people around the world are modern slaves, either in forced labor, forced marriages. You went through hell and you came out stronger. And ever since you've been fighting against slavery in the world. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
The numbers you said in Sudan, even it is higher than that. Because during the time of war, the troops, when they came back from the south, they will bring back with them Comality. What are those Comality I'm talking about? We talk about the human being. Boys and girls, especially the youngest one. To a point where slavery in Sudan become part of war, which the leader of Sudan's, the Prime Minister Sadiq al-Mahdi, admit to American media, Channel 7s with Ted couples. These are facts. When he was being interviewed by Ted couple with Nightline about the slavery, Sadiq al-Mahdi, which you people call it Sadiq al-Mahdi, admit, and he said, and I quote, yes, Sudan, slavery exists in Sudan, but the government didn't condone it. It is, and this is his word, slavery exists because the Africans will come and kidnap the Arab kids, and the Arab will go and kidnap the African kid, which is a big lie. Africans have nothing to eat, they have nothing to rely on. They're being chased over, their refugees. So he lied, in my opinion, in that place. Not only that, not only him, Dr. Hassan al-Turabi, which is any Sudanese who will hear this will believe that as true, who happened to be architecture of Islamic law in Sudan. He admitted that slavery exists. And he went and blamed slavery on war, or civil war. The president, the one who has been overthrown recently, the person that I campaigned for him to be indicted by ICC, Omar alBashir, admitted, and he blamed the war. He blamed the slavery on the war. And that is why when I get a chance to sit down with the presidents of the United States in the Oval Office, and he promised me that he will end this slavery by bringing peace between Sudan, between Northern Sudanese and Southern Sudanese. Because
who was the president?
George W. Bush. And indeed, he stopped slavery because slavery was going on in two countries, practically on a daily basis, in two countries in Africa, Sudan and a country of Mauritania in the West Africa. So, in the world today, slavery comes in different form. You'd be surprised here in the area where you may have someone being enslaved in a different form, which has now become a modern day slavery. So when I came here, my priority is how can I tell the world that there is this taboo still exists. The taboo that which this country of ours fought and life being perished to end the slavery in this country until a noble leader of this country decided to come with a law emancipation for nations to end the slavery, even that the slavery didn't end right away. But in my opinions, that actions has made this country a beautiful country on earth today. That actions, which nobody even thought at that time, that a black child can become a president of this country. So that's why I said before, when you see something wrong, for those who will see things and then assuming that thing will change itself without you getting involved, you're wrong. So slavery, it is something that we should not condone and walk away with that fight. Even though we will not see it as completely, but let's look at it today. Things change. The country of ours today is not the way it used to be 200 years ago. Yeah. It's a beautiful place today. It become a rainbow country today where everybody have a voice and have a way to express her or his opinion, which wasn't there at that time. There is no sign. Now you can see in some of the restaurants, bathroom, no this one and no this one. Because others got involved and speak up against the evils.
Unlike many other episodes, we took our time. So today we will be releasing the first part of a 2-part episode, but I urge you to listen to all of it and to the next part that will be released next week.